Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome, welcome. This is Narissa Sue, and we are doing the 11-day Leap Forward Breathwork Challenge wrap up and celebration. So I'm super excited. We made it through the 11 days, and now I just wanted to take this opportunity to connect with everybody to find out how you feel after things have been wrapped up and kind of talk a little bit about some of your results as far as what came up for you and then move into the next phase, which is what do we do with all of this energy? Now that we have the resistance, the motivation, and the clarity that we're moving for, and the focus that we have built up over this 11 days, and we've had a couple of days to rest, like now what do we do with all of that energy? So we're going to talk about all of those things today. And I'm really excited about it. And whether you're joining us on the recording or not, a couple of things. I do have a workbook that I prepared for you. I dropped it in the Facebook group, and then I'm also going to attach it to the email if you're not joining us live, so that you can follow along and do this part too. So without further ado, we are going to get started. And I am going to invite you guys that are live on the call here just to share a little bit about about your experience, during the 11-day journey and kind of what you were able to, what you experienced and what you created, like before you started and then until now. So who would like to start?
I can go.
All right, fabulous.
Get
Thank
that.
you, Krista.
Sure. So for me, it was a very cathartic and momentum building experience. And I really started with that desire to release the fear and release the doubt, and felt it manifesting in my body. And over the course of the 11 days, it moved and changed and transmuted, I think is the word that you used. And I used it also as a catalyst and kind of an inspiration for some work that I've been doing. And I started it the night of the 29th. And I made it like kind of like an art project. And so I made all these little glass cages, and then every night I'm writing out all the things that I'm trying to break free from, that are like stimulated from the fear or from the shame or whatever it is. And then I write it down, stuff it inside the cage, and then I go outside and I smash it. And it's been really like liberating. So I'm really jazzed and really grateful, because I think it was it ties it all together, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Beautiful. Wow, that's really powerful. And I love how you're doing glass cages. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're
So you
just
have
like
so you have like your own break room.
yeah, like I take it out into the street and I put it into this bag. Like I use this free people bag, but I use it
Mhm.
because like the just the phrase like free people, I was like, oh yes, free people. I'm like gonna
Exactly. You're like,
like
I am
stomp.
people and I am gonna
Yes,
be free.
yes,
I love
releasing
that.
myself from the cage. So
Yay. I love that. And so powerful, right? Being able to move all of that energy and such a what and a greater awareness too of how these emotions kind of live in our body, right? And how we're able to be autonomous. Like once we begin to finally fine tune our nervous system, we can start to kind of pinpoint where it's sitting and then begin to kind of move it out and shake it out
yeah.
and continue that process, right? We continue that journey. Good, thank you. All right, Lindsay, is there anything like to share about your journey, about where you started and
Wait,
all
I'm in bed. I don't know where it is. Okay.
good.
I think it was just for me trying to listen to my body more, and oh, there we go. And um, I have a lot on my mind and kind of living the nomadic life. is makes it hard for me to be stable, and something I miss. And um, I think breath work kind of gives me that stability in my body for however many minutes that I need. Um, and also kind of working through things that have been on my mind and things that I've been meaning to do. Um, so it's just kind of help kind of take the edge off and calm my nerves and give me some enlightenment within myself that I needed to listen not only to my body, but I guess to my inner self, which is very important. So that's it.
Absolutely. And just connecting with that inner child too, right? It's like learning
Hmm.
to listen to that part too.
Yeah, because that inner child has been suppressed for a very long time and holds a lot of grief and anger and a lot of emotions, right?
Hmm.
So trying to release that as well, um, as I'm nearing my half a century on this planet. So it's a
Amazing.
lot. We all
Well,
go
and
through our midlife crises in different ways.
absolutely. And I feel like it's just about learning deeper ways to listen to ourselves, right? And listening to
Mhm.
that the inner guidance that comes through, right? That's really powerful because you know you know what to do when you're tapped in, right? And so what I'm hearing is that you're able to kind of tap in more to that.
Yeah, because you know, growing up, well, for me, I wasn't allowed to express anything. So as my adult years go on, it's me releasing that more and more, and learning how to express myself and how to talk more and be more myself instead of always being suppressed.
Mhm.
And that's so
Absolutely.
important. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's such a skill that we learn. It's funny because we're like in our 40s and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm just now learning how to fully express myself as a human being and communicate like feelings and thoughts and emotions in more complex ways than we have in the past.
Yeah, now our 40s are almost over. We're like, what? Wait, I'm just getting started. Right?
Exactly. It's just, yeah, it's getting to be this is the fun part. Here we go.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lizzie. Right, Justin.
Yeah, I would say I was really prior to the challenge, I was really having just some struggles, like getting myself to do stuff. I was kind of just struggling, having a lot of internal conflict around um just doing a lot of mundane tasks and things I needed to do to take care of myself. I found this really helped with that a lot. And I think you said it really kind of tapped in. Like I've been really trying to stay more and more tapped into source guidance and I had gone through a period of feeling really tapped in, and I was kind of coming out of that and feeling a little bit lost. And I feel like this really helped me. And I missed a few days in there traveling, and I even noticed that a lot. That I kind of started to lose it as I missed a few days in the practice.
Right. And it's kind of cool too because even if you miss a few days, if you jump right back in, you start you pick up where you left off with the momentum and you can still continue to build on that.
I agree. I felt that when I came back. I felt that.
Amazing. So you felt like you're able to focus more and it was helping with motivation and
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if motivation is the right word, but maybe like just removing resistance.
okay. Yeah, that's powerful. I don't know, that resistance is always there. I've been doing this practice for going on 7 years here, and I feel like the resistance is always there. And so it's just about building that resilience to be able to push through it, um, and and to continue on. And it's in that pushing through that we reap the rewards, right? It's perfect. Thank you. Anything else that you noticed during your journey?
Just more energy. I feel more awake in the morning. I've been trying to just not drink coffee also, and I definitely didn't achieve that every day, but it does help.
Absolutely. Yes, it's definitely it's an energy booster, right? I've done a water fast for several years. I'll do a period like a 7-day water fast, and when I water fast, it's really common to be low energy because you're not eating food, and doing breath work in the morning. In the morning during a water fast, it's amazing because it literally boosts your energy, and you realize how much energy you can get from this practice. And that was the first time that I, not eating the food and just drinking water. I was like, wow, this is really, really powerful because I not only feel the energy, but I feel a lot more alert. I'm clear, and I was able to get through the day, with that momentum. So there's definitely something to really tapping into our nervous system this way. So fabulous. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing about your journey and sharing with everybody kind of what you were able to yield through putting in this effort, because it's no small amount of time. 11 days is an investment, especially at 6 a.m. So I really appreciate everybody who's been following along, whether it's been through the recordings or popping in and out online, and a combination of both, because it is such a big commitment. And I do it on purpose because 6 a.m., is a little bit earlier. Most people are getting up and getting their day started, but they're just, jumping out of bed and going right into work or right into their routine, or they get up a little bit later just to get that little bit of extra sleep before they start their day. So I realize that it's challenging, and that's why we do it, right? It's to retrain, it's to shake up our routine a little bit, and to get in that meditative practice and that push, straight away in the morning. And I even noticed it. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm pretty sure you did, that from day one, my energy level on my videos is completely different than my energy at day 11. Like literally a huge dramatic difference in the energy level that I experienced in my own body, doing the practice with you guys. And the momentum that we build together when we do it as a collective, as a team, is so beautiful, because we are carrying the energy all together, and then we don't feel like we're alone, right? We don't feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to get up and figure out how to do my meditation by myself. I've got to, get up and figure out, can I push through the breath work? Because just simply listening to a recording is effective if you feel motivated at that level, right? But getting to that place of motivation sometimes takes a little bit of doing. So hopefully now that you have been doing it for this many days, you can continue on, with the recordings. And I would also like to invite you to join us on Tuesday mornings, because on Tuesday mornings we do the 6 a.m. practice in the group, and it's only once a week. So it's not for 11 days, but this is definitely like the maintenance, right? So it'll keep everything bright and shiny, and it's a place where you can come in to connect as a team again, and we breathe together. And it's the same process. So if you're interested in that, then definitely reach out to me and I can send you, or I'll send everybody the link after, just so you have it. So if you want to jump in. And we are going to roll into the next part, which I'm super excited about, you guys. This is the big part. So now that we have again, all of this resilience that we build, we have, some greater motivation, and we're ready to go, right? We're ready to leap forward. We're already in March. It's March 3rd. And we're wrapping up the first quarter of 2024 already. And I know a lot of times we think about, setting big goals and everything as something that we do in January. And I don't do New Year's resolutions simply because they kind of fall by the wayside. So what I love to do is just get kind of refocused on, okay, what goals am I working on right now? And what areas of my life do I actually want to set some goals? And sometimes I can feel a little ambiguous, or it can feel like we have so many options available to us that it gets a bit overwhelming. So what I wanted to do today is, just as a team, just kind of look at things and look at the different areas where we could potentially set some goals here. All right, so we are going to take a look at the worksheet. So go ahead and just open that worksheet. And you can see the first page of the 11-day Leap Forward Breathwork Challenge. Here we go. And we have on the first page is called the Wheel of Life. Now, some of you might have already seen this before, but if you haven't, and maybe you've done this exercise already in a different capacity or similar, so same but different. So we're going to do this together because I feel like this is one of the most effective ways. And when I work with my personal coaching clients, this is one of the first things that we do to determine, okay, well, what are we even going to focus on right now? What's actually important to me? And how do I really hone in on it? So what we're looking at here is there's 6 key areas of life where we can focus on stuff, because as Oprah says, we can have everything, we just can't have everything at once. So we want to focus on one area at a time. And the beauty of this is when we focus on one area at a time and we really put all of our momentum into that, it has a weird way of getting the energy flowing, and it starts to leak into all the other areas of our life. So you literally cannot make a wrong selection. However, it is really imperative that you make a selection, that you pick one area and that you give it your all, that it's something that you can feel really excited about, that you can put this momentum that you've gathered from the breathwork challenge behind it, all this energy that you've created behind this big juicy goal. All right, so the first area that we're looking at is the area of career. And so some really good questions that you can ask, and you want to grab your pen and paper as well. So you probably have a pen already. Grab your notebook and just jot down a couple notes, because we're going to do this right now together. Because otherwise, if you do it later, you might just set it aside. It's going to be one more thing that we just don't get done, right? So we don't want to make this a tasky thing. We want to make this fun, because this is where we get to dream, and this is where we get to start to visualize something different in our life. All right, so for career, the first question you want to ask is your job rewarding? So are you doing something right now that you feel is purpose driven, that you feel like, oh my gosh, this is something I love to get out of bed and do. I feel like this is something that makes my heart sing, but is a lot of fun, right? It's not just something that makes me a lot of money. I don't feel like I'm, dragging myself into work. And does it reflect my values? Now, this is a huge one. I worked in corporate America for over 13 years. I worked in advertising in my past life. And I got to a point where I was just like, oh my goodness, I can't do this job anymore, because I just didn't feel like it was purposeful. I really wanted to do something that would help people in a big way. And so I had to make a switch in career, because I had just grown into a place where I wanted to do more and I wanted to give more, right? And I wanted something that really lined up with my values, because our values change over time, right? And especially we're talking about, some of us are almost 50 years old, right? Some of us are in our 40s, 50s. And so our values are going to change over time. And what's important to us, like time, for instance, when you're 20 years old, you feel like you have time, all the time in the world. And when we get into our 40s and especially our 50s, we're like, man, I really need to focus. Like I need to focus. I need to really understand exactly what it is that I want, so that I can put all of my energy into building in that area, so I can achieve that faster, right? Um, all right, so does it reflect my values? Do I have an opportunity for growth, and do I earn enough? So if you feel like you've capped out where you are, or okay, yes, I'm making great money, but again, it's not something that I'm really excited about, or I have enough money right now. Money is not really the object. What really the object is feeling more fulfilled. Like I want to do something that's going to be more of a legacy type project, where I'm building my own business, or I'm building a team of people that is supporting a cause that I love, or I'm doing something more nonprofit driven. I'm doing something that I feel is a calling again. And do I save enough? So are you saving enough money, putting enough away for the future? And then the last one is, do I plan for financial freedom? So if you're working with, investors or crypto or whatever it is, right? Where are you putting your money so that it can work for you? And then the next one is family and friends. So the questions to ask are, do I have a close circle of friends? And do I spend enough time with them? Am I spending enough time with them, or am I always busy working? Am I totally leaning towards workaholic and tendencies, or am I taking the time to actually spend quality time with my friends and family? And do I value the relationship that we have with each other? So do you have the deep and meaningful relationships that you really want in your life, that you feel like the friendships that you have are deep and connected, that you can just go and have great conversations with people and you feel like you guys can be really easy and real with each other and you're there for each other? Or do they feel like they're very surface, right? And then are they as deep as I'd like, which I just kind of just touched on that. But yeah, I mean, at this point in our life, we want people to be real. We want the bonds to benefit. We want to be mutually beneficial and to be healthy relationships. And so if we're not attracting those type of relationships into our lives, and I'm not even talking about love relationships. I'm talking about, friends and family again, and the people that are in our core circle. Like, how are those relationships looking and feeling to you, and how could they change to be more beneficial? And then the third one is health and wellness. So this one's always a big one. And especially as we're getting older and our bodies are changing, our hormones are changing, there's all different kinds of things that are happening. So even the way that we work out and the way that we eat is changing. So how is your health and fitness? Are you generally fit and well? Are you eating for your changing body? Are you taking care of your hormones? Are you taking care of your gut health? And how often are you exercising? Are you getting that exercise in? And are you drinking enough water? Are you carrying around that water bottle? Hopefully not one of those big Stanley cups that have the lead in the bottom, but like legit water bottles. You're drinking healthy sources of water. And then getting enough sleep. Sleep is a luxury. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like sleep is definitely a hot commodity, especially with all the different hats that we wear. And sometimes with hormones too. If our hormones are changing, our sleep cycles are changing. So it's looking at like what type of supplements are we taking, all those kinds of things. So overall health and wellness. And then spirituality, some questions to ask here are, do I believe in something greater than myself? How is your relationship with something bigger than yourself, right? And it doesn't, and I'm not talking about religion. A lot of times when I say spirituality, people get that confused that I'm speaking about religion. But what I'm talking about is your direct connection to something bigger than you. And for that, some people will call that nature, some people call it God, some people call it source. I call it creation or the universe. Some people will call it Buddha or Allah. Whatever it is, that special connection that you have with something larger than yourself, it's incredibly personal, and it's something that we develop over time. But how is that relationship for you? And is there a driving force or purpose behind what you do? Because a lot of times when we feel like we have that connection to something bigger than ourselves, that becomes something that really drives us forward into purpose, which is how we're here to serve on the planet. And then how am I aware of who I am and who I am not, right? And that's really big as well. It's like, how well do you know yourself? And this might seem like a really funny question, but I meet people every day that I have this conversation with, and they're like, you know what? I'm not exactly sure 100% who I am and what I stand for, even though, I am 40 or 50 years old, because I've spent a lifetime in service to a family or a job or a partner where I always put everybody else before myself. I never put myself first. And so, a lot of times, even women too will be like, I don't even know what my own preferences are. I don't know what I like because I'm always taking care of everybody ahead of myself. And so, this is a really big area to begin to ask these questions. And then also, do I have a regular meditation or prayer practice, right? And this also, breath work also follows into this category. So we've also been developing this meditation practice because breath work, we call the breath work the gateway to meditation. So this is how we transition our nervous system to be able to calm down so that we can meditate, so we can drop into that deep place of restorative healthy space where we can begin to allow ourselves to dream and to call things in. And then the next section is relationships. Now, this section is about love, right? It's about love relationships. It's about soulmates. If you believe in soulmates, maybe you don't believe in a soulmate. I believe that there's many partners that could be a particular fit for you. However, it's really about identifying, again, your values, right? Your values and what you want. And especially as we get older, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Because a lot of us have kids, we're single parents, or even if you don't have kids, you're looking at joining up with somebody who may have kids. So you're blending families. It's not just partner and partner now. So it gets a little bit more challenging. So having a really clear idea about what it is that you want in a partner and what you value, and actually starting to make lists of these things. So if you have a partner already, do you share values and intimacy, right? And intimacy is not about sex, right? Intimacy is actually deep and meaningful conversations. Do we have the bond, that deep bond that takes place that keeps the relationships alive? And it's the growth, right? The areas of growth that we come together to grow together. Because oftentimes we find that we grow apart because we're not growing. All right, and then am I nurturing the relationship we have with each other? So how much time are we putting in to growing this love relationship? And if you don't have the love relationship, how much time are you putting into becoming the person, right, that you want to attract as well? Which leads me to the next question. Am I the best version of myself to attract the soulmate that I desire? So a lot of times people will be like, oh my gosh, I got to find the one, right? I got to go out and find the one. And I have a whole list of things that they have to be, right? And really the most important question is have I become the person? You know, am I working on becoming all of the things that I put on the list? If I say that I want somebody financially stable, am I financially stable? If I say I want somebody emotionally stable, am I in therapy? Am I working on my emotional, stability? Whatever it is, I want somebody who's super fit. Am I working on my fitness? Am I eating well? Am I going to be the person that, wants to go out and do physical things with somebody who enjoys being physically fit? Or, do I want somebody that's just going to chill at home with me because I'm more of a homebody? So these are actually really important questions to ask. And then the last one is personal growth. So in the personal growth category, it's, do you enjoy opportunities to grow? And are you challenging yourself right now to continue to grow? Because a lot of times, I hate that saying where they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That is not true at all. It's not true at all. We're all constantly evolving beings. And as we completely experienced during this transformational process and on this 11-day challenge, it's like we change in just 11 days. You can change from day 1 to 11. Your energy can completely shift, and you can turn yourself completely on. It's like your light is on, right? So it just takes a little bit of intention and a lot of love and some focus, and you can completely open up to new ways of being, doing, and having. So again, am I continually learning new things? So are we challenging ourselves? Are we getting out of our comfort zone so that we can continue to grow? And then the last one is, am I committed to continually evolving as a person, or am I resistant to change? Because that's another thing, you guys. Like, I talk to people every week that are like, oh my gosh, I really, really want, a new partner, for instance. But I'm not willing to go outside. I mean, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to go out there. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's like, I want a 6-pack abs, but I'm not going to do the work, right? I'm not willing to do the work. I'm not willing to get uncomfortable. And then nothing happens, right? When we're not willing to take that change. So it's like, so how committed am I to actually having the thing that I say that I want? Like, where is that commitment level? Where's the excitement level to be able to call in something that's different? Okay, so those are kind of gives you an overview, and I'm sure that you have the answers of these questions kind of top of mind. So we are going to take another look here at the actual wheel. So you can see that we already asked the questions. And so I want you to give yourself a rank. And then one is like, okay, and this is how much energy you're currently putting into all these different areas. Okay. So a 0 means, you know what, I am not even thinking about this. It's not even on the radar. You know, I'm not putting any energy into this area at all right now. And 10 means, you know, I am putting 100% of effort into this area. And I literally can't give it any more attention because it's already fully on the radar. So somewhere from 1 to 10, go ahead and just rank yourself, give yourself a score. And if you haven't had the chance to print out the worksheet, that's not a big deal. If you have a piece of paper, just draw the circle and draw a line in the center, and then make yourself a couple marks so you can get your 6 pieces of the pie there. Or you can simply just write career and then write a number beside it, because that's also easy if that's easier. It just depends on how you like to kind of draw things out for yourself visually. Okay, so make a score for career, give yourself 1 for health and wellness, and then also 1 for relationships, and then so on with friends and family, spirituality, and personal growth. All right. So after giving yourself marks for all of those, what you want to do now is just kind of take a look at it. And usually some of these are a little bit lopsided. Like there's always one that is going to be really, really sticking out. Does anybody want to pop on and tell me what their lowest score is?
What do you mean
Okay.
lowest score?
Like which area out of the 6 areas did you give the lowest score? Like
Family and friends.
family and friends. Okay. All right, good.
How
And
how selfish of me.
but you know what? That's okay. There's some times in our lives where we need to be selfish to be able to fill ourselves up, right? So,
Yeah.
so is that an area that you want to work on, or is there a number 2? Like usually there's a top 2 that have low scores.
Uh, relationships. I think I
Okay.
gave up. Um, I think I've just been through too much the last few years, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's time for me now. I've spent too much time on family that doesn't reciprocate the same.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like our blood family, because sometimes that can
yeah.
be really draining, right? But maybe it's like looking for a new tribe of people that, you know, you have shared values that match up this season of your life, and finding community, building community in that way. So it doesn't always mean like you know, if the family situation is not ideal, that you have to go back into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think me building a community, my finding my tribe, I put more into spirituality and personal
Right.
growth.
Yeah, and they all kind of they are a little bit, like I said, if we pick one area and we set goals, that they're all pretty related. And so once we start getting the life, the energy running into that area, it usually kind of works. It's like water, right? It starts going all the way through the circle. All right, thank you. All right, anybody else want to share? Top 2 areas, or the lowest
Well,
scored areas of opportunity, I guess we can say.
I would say my health and then my link to spirituality.
Okay. All right, perfect. Good. All right. Anybody else? Going once? All right. Okay. So perfect. So yeah, so we have a few that are here. So whatever you scored the lowest, it's kind of interesting just to kind of take a look as well. And now you can see that we have personal growth, spirituality, and family and friends on the bottom of the wheel of life, right? And that is, it's purposeful, right? Because when we have our personal growth, when we're growing personally, growing our communication, our understanding of who we are, what we want, And then spirituality is, learning about how to hone all the different ways to feel connected to something larger than ourselves, whether that's, community, or it's community and, just, nature, creation, the universe. And then figuring out what our spiritual practices are, because they're different for everybody. And family and friends, right? So again, like we may have some situations that we're not able to make amends with our actual family, but you don't need to actually speak to your family members to start making amends and to start healing uh, some of the trauma and the things that have happened with family and even friends in the past, right? But all of these things on the bottom are really our foundation for life, right? So when we are able to get these scores higher, like for spirituality, personal growth, and family and friends, it supports the top because it literally holds the foundation up for us to make more money. Because the more we know our value and we know who we are and what we can provide, the more money we can make, right? And the more we have this connection to the universal energy and into flow, right? And feeling connected, that where our health just gets better. And then also with family and friends, when we have that strong foundation and that base and we have good communication going there, we've done some healing with those relationships, it only strengthens our love relationships. So it all goes together, right? It all goes together, and there's definitely a flow that happens there. All right. So there's some additional questions that you can ask yourself as well. So I encourage you to continue to go through the work to work through this little workbook. So when you look at the shape of the wheel, asking yourself, okay, well, how do I feel about this? Like, because there might be, if relationships are really low, you might feel a certain kind of way, or even spirituality. A lot of people have a very difficult relationship with religion, like I said, and so they link spirituality with something. Oh, well, I don't want to go to church, or I don't want to have to study, a religious text or a scripture. And that's okay. It's like wherever you are, you just begin to start to develop a relationship of, what does spirituality mean for me, right? Not what somebody else tells you it has to be or it should be, or how it was when you were growing up, but what does that relationship look like now, right? And then how would you like to change the shape of the inner wheel? So if you have, your health score is really low, and you're like, okay, I'm not dedicating enough time in that area to taking care of my body, my well-being, I'm not eating well, then, how would I like to make those changes? What do those changes really look like? And then what surprises you? So a lot of times there's people do this exercise and they're like, oh my gosh, when I really think about it, a lot of times, especially with the women that I work with, for some reason, the career one will be at a 10. And I don't know if this resonates or anybody else, but career will be at a 10 because they are putting their all into their career. And then they're like, but I just don't know why. I have no idea why the relationship quadrant is so low, right? They'll put like maybe a 0 or maybe a 2, and it's really suffering, right? And so there's definitely imbalances that are happening in your circle. So where are those, where was the surprise? Like what surprised you the most in looking at this wheel? And then what would a score of 10 look and feel like? So if you gave yourself even like a 5, right? Like say you gave yourself a 5, even in like personal growth, right? So what would a 10 look like to you? So if you were to give yourself a rating of a 10 in the personal growth category, like what would that look like in your life? Like how would it feel? What would you be doing? What are the activities that you'd be doing? What kind of actions would you be making towards fulfilling that part of your life? And then what category would you most like to start with? So now, and it's usually the one that the one that's going to benefit you the most is the one that you don't want to look at, right? The one that you don't want to, you're like, ugh, no, finances. I don't know. I don't want to look at my books. What is that? And then which category would you like to most improve, right? So some of us are like, okay, I would love to call in a relationship and have a healthy relationship, right? Have a healthier relationship. So what does that look like? And then there's a continuation here. All right, so what single action will improve more than one area? So a lot of times we say, okay, if I work on my health and fitness and I'm feeling sexy, my energy level is a lot better, then I am going to feel a lot more confident and excited to go back out there and start dating. And I'm going to, again, feel a lot better within my body and myself and my energy level to go out and again to start dating and meeting new people. And maybe it's not dating, maybe you're like, okay, no, I don't want a love relationship. I want a better relationship with me. That's the love relationship that I'm looking for, that I really want to learn in this stage of my life how to truly love myself. Because for a lot of us, growing up, that was not a thing, right? We didn't learn how to love ourselves. We learned how to put everybody else before ourselves and everybody else's happiness. And we spent lifetimes serving children and partners and jobs. And when we get to a stage in our life where we're like, is this it? Like, this is it? Like, I don't feel fully fulfilled. Like, I don't feel like I've had time to do the things that I want to enjoy. And, there's things that I really don't love about myself, that I don't like about myself. And I wish I could change those things. And I just simply don't know how. Right. So those could also fit into this category. All right. And then let's see. And then it's also just kind of taking a little bit time to think, okay, well, how do you spend time in each area how do you spend your time in each of these areas? So is there some resistance or some avoidance in one particular quadrant than the other? And then what do you need to do? What are the things that you would like to do to start improving the score in each area? And then number 10 is what small steps would have the most significant impact on your satisfaction. And I know these things it's a lot. So obviously, taking a little bit time tonight just to kind of fill some of these things out so you can get a really good picture for yourself. And then after you've answered all those questions, it's like identifying just one small baby step. So what is one thing that you can do to improve the score in each one of these areas? And we've outlined this here for you. So we have career, health and wellness, relationship, family, friends, spirituality, and again, personal growth. So being able to write, and if you want the bonus, if you want the extra credit, right? Because some of us enjoy the extra credit. I always did the extra credit. I don't know about you. So if you want the extra credit, then write 2 or 3, right? What are 2 or 3 things that I can do? And the question of the evening, without getting all of this done, if there's one thing that you do tonight, here is the big thing. It's identify which area on that wheel that you would like to focus on. Like, what would you want more than anything? After kind of going through and asking some of these questions tonight, which I know were a lot, and you can go back and review the worksheet and fill out, write journal, write out some more things. But it just, I know that just from putting the scores on this, that there's one area on here that is really standing out more than the others. So what is that area? What's the one thing that if you change that one thing, it would change everything on this wheel for you, right? Like you're like, oh my gosh, if I just made more, if I was able to earn more money, then I would feel like I could take some, pressure off of my life and I could take better care of myself because I wouldn't be so stressed out and I would be able to, invest some money in my health. I could invest some money in going to, picking up a hobby or, doing supplements or getting special treatments or getting the massage that I need once a week. I would have the funds to do that, or the relationship, or excuse me, or whatever it is. Maybe it's spirituality. Maybe it's deep, diving deeper into your breathwork practice. It's diving deeper into the healing and holistic practices to begin to really open up yourself, right? And that always leads into greater senses of personal growth. So what is that one area that you would like to tackle? Right? Is there, who would like to share their one area?
I think right now I'm working on, I don't know, it's a toss up between personal growth and career.
Hmm.
I need to figure out what I really want to do because I'm unhappy with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So that's personal growth,
Hmm.
but also career.
Which they kind of go hand in hand, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of times it's like when we work on our personal growth and we really start to dig in and ask those questions like, okay, what are my values? What do I actually value? Like, and again, it changes over time. It's always it's changing through the different seasons of our life. And so it is like sitting down and looking at that and then saying, okay, well, if these values don't match up with what I'm doing now as a career, then it's like, okay, well, what does, right? And there's so many different options. There's so many different options. And that's one of my areas of expertise, actually. In my past life, I mentioned that I worked in advertising, I worked in corporate America, but I was actually a recruiter for, oh my gosh, over 15 years. And I worked with executives, and I used to help hire everybody from the front office receptionist to our executive team. And that was one of the things I absolutely loved to do, was sit down with people and really dig in and see what their special talent was and see what their skill set was. Because sometimes they would just be in the wrong job. They would have this beautiful skill set and they would just need some minor adjustments to be in a different role so that they could, really flourish. And a lot of times now in what I do as a breakthrough coach, and is help people really identify these things so that we can work through them and systematically put together a plan, right? Is do the hard work of digging into the stuff that is holding you back, right, in the subconscious. And it's not just breath work. Breath work is one of the many tools that I use when I work with people one-on-one, and it's really just a beautiful journey. And what it really entails is making a commitment to yourself that I am choosing myself right now. I'm choosing to put myself first, and I'm ready to go on the journey to make this happen for myself. Right. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Is there anybody else that wants to share what their one thing is that they'd like to work on, or one area? No. Okay. All right. So yes, so you've identified that one thing. Well, I would love to hear what that one thing is. What is in your heart? What is it that you know that you deserve to have or to create in this next chapter of your life? And how are you going to get that, right? And so I would encourage you to continue working on all these questions and really dig deep, have fun with it. This is the time to dream and to begin to pull out the things that you really want to achieve in this next season. And even in the next quarter, people underestimate what they can do and get done in a year, or they overestimate what they can get done in a year, and they underestimate what they can get done in even like a month's time. A lot of times when I work with clients one-on-one, we set these goals straight away, and we'll set out a timeline of like, 3, 6, 9 months out, 1 year, and they will start just crushing their goals early on, and they'll begin to set new goals because the things that they set for like their 6 month or 1 year timeline are beginning to come into fruition very quickly within the first 3 months, which is really exciting to be able to build that momentum and see the results so quickly. And those results come again from the willingness that you feel, and you're like, all right, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that goal, to get my goal. And when we do that, the universe responds when we take big action. All right. Well, beautiful. Well, thank you so much. We're coming up on the hour here. So I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but I would invite you to reach out to me, book a call with me, and you can simply just send me a message as well. And we can schedule some time for you and I to chat one-on-one about the results of what you've discovered doing this exercise, and go even deeper to what you experienced in your challenge, the things that were coming up for you, And we can talk about what that next level of working together looks like so that we can help you really break through whatever's come up for you and start achieving the thing that you want to call into your life. Because what I know is that you have a lot of wisdom at this point in your life. And it's not that you don't know what to do, it's about having somebody just walk with you during the process. And we all deserve that. We deserve that extra layer of support because there's just, frankly, parts of our lives that we're not meant to go at alone. You are not meant to do this part alone, and you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. It's something that we can do as a team and we can do it together, and it'll be really fun. And it'll be incredibly rewarding. And I would love to hear from you. So reach out to me. Let's get on a call together. We'll talk about how we're going to work together moving forward, what that looks like. And I have a program. My coaching program is actually called You Are the Medicine, and it is a 3-month journey. I do have a couple different ways to work together. So working together one-on-one, doing that, or on the coaching journey is that 3-month program. And then also we have the Tuesday morning breathwork circles where you can come in and just continue to maintain this beautiful energy that you've created. And either way, if you're not sure and you're like, all right, Nurse, I'm ready to move forward. I want to continue working together, but I'm just not sure exactly, what that might entail or what that looks like, then that is exactly the reason to jump on the call so we can discuss it further. And again, I want to hear all about your results of what you worked on tonight and worked on your worksheet. And so I am going to close this out by sharing a sharing of some of the beautiful souls that I have worked with in the past that so beautifully decided to share more about their experience with you guys today. So let's go ahead and listen here.
There's no sound.
Uh-oh. Oh, thank you for letting me know that there's no sound. Let me make sure that the sound is on. Thank you. Let me start that over real quick. All right.
Hi, my name is Heather Havenwood, and I want to talk to you about my experience of working privately one-on-one with risks. A personal development junkie. I've been through all kinds of programs, including, of course, Tony Robbins and Landmark Education and many other programs, Silva. So I've done meditation. I've done all kinds of different kinds of things. But when Riz told me this promise of this breakthrough work with her, the promise is to truly erase those instances and shift it. I kind of said to her, heck, why not? I've tried everything else, girl, I'll try this. That's kind of my experience I had, and she'll tell you, she's like, but it's true, she did. Literally through her multi-modalities, right? She did lots of different modalities. It wasn't one modality or one method. It was multiple modalities and methods, all at the same time. I felt like I was on this roller coaster. I just kind of hung out with it. What I realized is she did. We went back into my time, and I had a lot of trauma in my life as a young girl. She took it out and literally rephrased it, took out all the energy around it, right? All the negativity energy around it. And it's almost like she took all that out from that moment all the way till today, within hours of us working together, not days or weeks, hours of us working together. My whole life began to shift. People started leaving, people started coming, things started opening up, opportunities closed. I moved into a whole new world, within days, okay? Started within hours. So I don't even know what she did. I would love to explain it, but I can't explain it. But I can tell you it massively works. It's still working. It's been a couple weeks and I still have things that are shifting. Um, I highly recommend it. If you're up to big things, if you're a type A personality like myself, or you just know what you want in life and you feel like, God, why is this not coming to me? I've done all the right things. I highly recommend working with Riss and her personal breakthrough program and become truly the lioness you were meant to be.
Hi, this is Dr. Haley. This is a testimonial for Narissa. I love her energy and her kindness and generosity to reach out for support. Her beautiful breath work and music really allowed me to feel grounded and push through some of the barriers that had been holding me back as I transform or transition to the next stage of my journey with my business. I couldn't recommend her more.
Pranayama is thousands of years old and it's been refined through the years, and how Narissa incorporates sound with it is just another great addition and supplement to the practice. If you're interested in learning and working with Narissa for breath work, I highly recommend it. She's easy to find, amazing to work with, and she's really safe to be around, especially in light of everything that's going on around the world.
Narissa has this firm but also loving energy that makes you feel safe to unfold. And working with Narissa and this safety but also this firmness allowed me to heal a lot of stuff, and especially my relationship with money.
It was incredible the amount of transformation I had from this experience. From there, she was able to help guide me. So help me take that momentum and use the coaching to move me forward. And wow, I have set goals. She was there to help push me too when I wanted to kind of sneak out the other direction, to help me be accountable to myself. And she also brought in her breath work, which was absolutely glorious, with her own spin, and brought her own personality and herself into the coaching session as well. From there, I have seen immense amounts of change in myself, and which have impacted every area of the wheel of life. So I recommend that you book a session with Narissa.
Okay. So I am hearing that maybe you couldn't see the video, but you could hear the sound.
Correct.
So, all right. Well, I can definitely, I'll drop the testimonial video in the Facebook group tonight too, so you guys can take a look at that. And maybe, or I could send the link on the email too, because not everybody's in the Facebook group. I do encourage you to come and join the Facebook group so you can keep up on all the events that are happening. And invite some friends. You know, if you're going to come for the Tuesday, I hope to see everybody on the Tuesday night or the Tuesday morning breathwork circle as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with me this evening and coming together one more time as a team to share your experiences. And I just really, really love and appreciate you guys. I would love to continue to work with you guys. So again, reach out to me. You can send me a message a multitude of different ways. And let's talk about the next level of your unfolding and how we can do that together. All right, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor, and I will see you guys again soon. So goodbye for now and have a fabulous evening. Okay, bye-bye.